I've always been fascinated by space, especially with the idea of the human race one day touching down on Mars and truly becoming an interplanetary species. That said, with how things are going down here on Earth, they need to speed that shit up ASAP. Literally everyone knows one of these dickheads is gonna end up blowing up the planet and ruining life for everyone. That, along with the fact that the ape uprising is probably just around the corner, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'd rather be some gorilla's bitch rather than be vaporized by a nuclear warhead. So, a lot of people have heard of SpaceX's project of one day starting a human colony on Mars. Some pretty ambitious stuff. And with the successful launch of the Falcon Heavy, the biggest rocket since the Saturn V, which supposedly took man to the moon, means that we are capable of sending a payload of up to 40,000 pounds to Mars, which is good news for your mom, because she can now just barely make it into space. So SpaceX wasn't the first company to announce a legit plan to colonize Mars. So back in 2011, when everyone was jamming to Party Rock Anthem, Mars One, a small organization, formally announced its plan to establish a permanent human colony on Mars by the year 2032. But long story short, their actual plan was pretty far-fetched, to put it nicely. Wait, why am I putting it nicely? The guy's plan was basically full of shit. Like, the means on which they planned on receiving funding had some serious Indian IRS call center scam vibe. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they started taking payments in iTunes gift cards. Now, I could sit here and shit on their ambition all day, and as much as I want to do that, I have to give credit where it's due. Something pretty cool and equally stupid about Mars One was that they had this opportunity where people could sign up for the chance to be one of the select few to go to Mars. But there was a pretty big catch to it. So one of the challenges that comes with Mars and space travel in general, it's not necessarily the getting to the destination part, which, don't get me wrong, is still very difficult, but the real challenge is the coming back part. So how do you address that issue? Well, a few solutions have been proposed, such as using Mars's carbon dioxide rich atmosphere and reacting it with hydrogen gas to form methane to use as fuel. But according to Mars One, there's a much simpler option. Just cut out the coming back part. So obviously they weren't going to take some random piece of shit like myself and send them to Mars. They were looking for qualified people. Approximately 200,000 people signed up for basically a one-way trip to Mars, where they know they would spend the rest of their lives. I know, it's pretty sad, right? But this got me thinking, if I was offered the opportunity to be one of the first people on Mars, would I accept it? Strangely enough, while I was conducting my research, I came across this glitch in Google where it shows that the Earth is round. I've notified them and hopefully they should have it fixed soon. So like I said, I've done some very basic research and I've come to the conclusion that life on Mars would straight up suck ass. Why does it suck ass, you may ask? Well, first of all, Billy, the trip there would be cancer. And I'm only partly exaggerating because there is a very serious risk of actually getting cancer from all that space radiation. And the trip itself is estimated to take anywhere from 2 to 7 months, depending on the location of Mars and Earth and on your horoscope. Now, that's a long ass time. I imagine it like spending an entire school semester in zero gravity while battling space AIDS, scurvy, and madness, which is a real thing. Remember that iCarly episode? Okay, so assuming that you actually managed to land on Mars without dying and free of space AIDS, my guess is that the novelty of being the first human on Mars would wear off pretty quickly. Probably due to the fact that the planet is the legit definition of treacherous and would require very advanced engineering just to survive on. For starters, Mars's atmosphere is about 100 times thinner than Earth's, meaning the radiation from the sun is a real problem. And it's not like the cool superhero radiation shit that you might be thinking of. It's the make you grow a third testicle and make you look like Gollum while killing you type of radiation. So the atmosphere is only about 0.04% oxygen, and the average temperature is about negative 81 degrees Celsius and can reach up to 20 degrees Celsius at the equator, which in my humble opinion is proof that global warming isn't real. Okay, so I know most people know that Mars is dangerous and whatnot, so let's focus on the actual quality of life. And that honestly would depend on a few things. First of all, who else is there with you? If you're just there with a bunch of yellow-bellied astronauts who are there for research purposes and all that stupid shit, that trip would be boring. But if your squad consists of people like 6ix9ine and your friends, you know that shit's gonna be lit. You could invite some Martians over and just get turned up. Also, while on the topic of Martians, several scientists believe that there actually is life on Mars, which is cool, right? But when I actually read into it, it's not expected to be the cool Martian Manhunter type of Martian. It's most likely believed to be microorganisms, similar to bacteria. Come on, who would want to go to Mars just to study some lame-ass amoeba-like specimens? If I wanted to study bacteria, I would just dig up the old rotting lunches that I've kept in my bag since grade 3. And by the way, I find it hilarious how everyone has done that at some point in their life. Honestly, if you could survive life on Mars, you'd be allowed into the salty spittoon. I would honestly pass on the opportunity, probably due to the fact that I cower in the face of adversity. I'd prefer watching the deaths of the first astronauts from the comfort of my home, here on Earth. And guys, nothing in this video is to be taken seriously, cause Mars isn't real and the Earth is flat. Duh. But how could they hide the fact that the Earth is flat from everyone? Well, just think about it. Kylie Jenner kept the birth of her child a secret, so anything is possible. So that about does it for this video, guys. Would you guys accept the opportunity for a one-way trip to Mars? Let me know down below, or not. And it's a good thing that I made this video, because I probably should go and throw out those old lunches I've kept in my bag. Or I could let them marinate a little longer. Alright guys, I'll catch you next time. Peace.